The Burden of Glory, a devotional for the season of Lent, produced by Northside Church. Friday, March 6th. Our scripture passage today comes from John chapter 4, verses 7 through 9.
When a Samaritan woman came to draw water, Jesus said to her, "Will you give me a drink?" His disciples had gone into the town to buy food. The Samaritan woman said to him, "You are a Jew, and I am a Samaritan woman. How can you ask me for a drink?" For Jews do not associate with Samaritans.
Jesus tells us that when we give a drink to the thirsty, we are giving it to Jesus himself.
Truly, I tell you, whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers and sisters of mine, you did for me.
In other words, we meet Jesus when we meet the needs of those around us. We see the face of Jesus in the faces of the least of these. But the woman at the well in our passage today sees the literal face of Jesus as he asks her, "Will you give me a drink?" This is a Samaritan woman who's had 5 husbands and appears to be an outcast of her own community. Her checkered past aside, the Samaritans are a traditional enemy of the Jewish people. To simplify a complicated situation, they were a people of Israelite descent, but mixed with a whole other mess of different ethnicities. Because of this impurity, Jewish folks didn't like them. And Samaritans didn't like Jewish folks because they believed them to have strayed too far from the law of Moses. We've reflected a good bit this week on our call to give a drink to the thirsty, even to our enemies. But now here's Jesus literally asking for a drink from a literal enemy. How does she respond? Pretty much the way that you'd expect. You're asking me, a Samaritan woman, for a drink? I'm sure there's a bevy of emotions flowing through her at this moment. She's obviously shocked, maybe even a little offended. But knowing what we know of her past, I think it's entirely possible that what she feels most is unworthy. She's thinking, why would you ask me for a drink? Why would anyone? I'm not worthy to serve you. There are others you should ask, others who can do it better. I think this kind of feeling is possible here because it's one that I have felt many, many times before. Surely I'm not the one you really want doing this, Jesus. Other folks know more about it and will do a better job. Plus, I'm not worthy to serve, especially in your name, Lord. But really, much like the woman in our story, it's just me finding excuses to not answer the call. Have you ever felt this way? If so, hear this. Just as there are no conditions for those who receive the drink of water, there are none for those who pour the drink. No more excuses. Jesus has called us to give a drink to those who are thirsty. Are we going to accept this burden of glory, Northside Church?